Hello everyone, I'm going to share my opinion on the whole Bearing thing about whether or not he's a bully, which has been thrown at him by the Christy Winters clique, mainly two of them, Michael Rowlands and Tim, the Motivator Opinion, and I've decided to just weigh in on this because why not? I might be a bit late, but I don't care. The argument from the SJWs, or rather progressives if you're Tim, is that Bearing is a bully because one, he has a big subscriber base, which therefore means that because he has a big subscriber base, which means there's a minority of them, although they will make it sound like it's bigger than it actually is, but it isn't, trust me on this. I've had personal experience with the Bearing Army through a case of mistaken identity, but that's another story for another day. They are a minority and they come in three different groups, which I'll get to. And these are the people who are accused of bullying these other SJWs that he responds to, although he's also a bully, even though it's a small minority of people who are bullying because they click on the links that he provides, which is also another thing because he links videos to these small channels. They're always small channels, it's never the big channels that he responds to, and this is another reason why they're bullying, because it's punching down rather than punching up, and because he criticises them, and because it's Bearing, therefore it's bullying. So we'll start with the criticism and how he criticises them, because that's kind of how they talk about it. Bear in mind that they don't really have any real reasons as to why he's bullying, but this is the kind of stuff that I've discerned from them. So basically, because he criticises feminists, and because that's what his videos are mostly about, and how he does it, therefore that's bullying. So basically he'll criticise a feminist, or an SJW, or anyone, and that's bullying, because it's criticism. But we know that that isn't bullying. Criticism is criticism, bullying is bullying. Bullying is a systematic harassment of someone, although apparently there's a difference, but it's treating someone unfairly, continuously, being nasty to them. But is Bearing nasty to them? He's snarky, he tells jokes, but is that nasty? No, not really. But that's the thing, they don't like the style of it. It's ponage. It's not uber serious stuff like what Christy Winters does, even though she's not as smart as she says she is, and nobody takes it seriously. And seriously, Michael Rowlands, you're not funny. And yet you try to be funny in your videos, yet when Bearing does that, apparently that's wrong. You need to get a grip, mate. And Tim, your AIU video, that's ponage. That's a roast of him. It's a good ponage and a good roast of him, but you've done it, so don't get on your high horse attacking people for doing that. That's not a criticism. So I don't think that alone means that he's a bully, because criticism is not bullying. And I don't think who he criticises, which is the other thing, is bullying either. I don't believe in the whole punching down, punching up thing. I think that anyone who says something stupid or horrible or nasty or harmful is fair game, in my opinion. Doesn't matter how small they are, or how big they are, or how rich or how poor. If they're saying something stupid, I'm going to call it out. But apparently this is an issue because they have this whole oppression Olympics thing, this hierarchy of oppression, and that's where the whole punching up, punching down thing comes from. But that doesn't apply to debate. Debate doesn't care about all that stuff. That doesn't make Bearing a bully. Just because these people have less subscribers than him doesn't mean that he can't criticise them, because then what? That kind of absolves them of things that they say because they're smaller, and that's denying him his right to talk about them or to them or criticise them because he's bigger. But that's the whole point, isn't it? And then there's the issue with the fans. Now, as I said before, there's three types of fans. The fan who just dislikes the video, although he may watch it or she may watch it or they might not watch it, but they just dislike it and then disappear. Some people get really intimidated and they all get a bit hyperbolic and moan about the like bar, but really the like-dislike bar, it's really just nothing anymore. It doesn't impact the video much, really, at all. It used to do back in the day when the algorithm was different. We have a different algorithm now, and the algorithm doesn't really take likes and dislikes into account, I believe. It's more tags, descriptions, and titles and thumbnails, I do believe. Nothing to do with the like-dislike ratio, but it is probably intimidating seeing thousands of people or hundreds of people disliking it, and when originally there probably wouldn't have been as many. And that's another issue. The second type is the fan who will go to the video, watch the video, or maybe they haven't watched it, but usually they'll watch it and they'll leave constructive criticism. And that's fine, that's not bullying, as we've mentioned before. This leads us to the third group, where the other two are lumped in because we have to collectivise these in order for the SJW argument to work, even though it doesn't work anyway. And these are the people who do go to the video with the express purpose of insulting this person, maybe harassing them, maybe bullying them, but with that, it depends on how the person takes it and what these people are doing. Because remember, a lot of the time, it's just someone leaving one comment. Sometimes they might not reply to maybe a fan or the original person responding to them. Sometimes they do, and this will generate into trolling or what have you. These are the people we should be calling out because they're not contributing anything to the discussion. They're just there to cause trouble. And these are the people that are giving Bearing a bad name, and they're also giving SJWs a bad name. Because remember, a lot of these things that the SJWs throw at Bearing also applies to them. Pwnage, sending fans over to harass them, allegedly. This can apply to them too. But the biggest thing that they've talked about, and it's the most illogical thing, is that he apparently sends his fans over to harass these people, or at the very least, when you question on how he possibly could tell them when he doesn't say a bloody thing, watch all his videos. Has he ever said to anyone to go and harass this person, to bully this person? No, he doesn't. He doesn't do it at all. But then they'll say, well look, he's put the link in the description, therefore he's enticing them. He knows it's going to happen. Therefore he mustn't care. That means he wants them to do it secretly. He's like psychically doing it. He's like psychically sending signals. It's like he puts stuff in the frames of his videos like harass them. But they can't prove any of this. This is thought crime. They're actually asserting his intent. Obviously, we all know this is a risk that we have to take when we source our videos because the YouTube response thing is gone now. So for context, we have to link the video in the description. There's going to be a minority of people who spread hate on them, and there's not much we can do. One of the main things that I hate about this whole thing is that apparently our fans are mindless drones who can't think for themselves, even though they're thinking for themselves without any hints from us or any enticing from us or any actual verbal announcements to go and harass people, to bully people, which therefore means that we're bullies, even though we haven't said anything, even though Bearing hasn't said anything. And I think this says more about them than it does about us, because as far as I know, and I think Bearing has said this multiple times, we believe individuals are individuals, we're individualists. We think everyone has a mind of their own and makes choices of their own. And I think this is what it is. People are making the choice to be cunts. While the SJWs think we're somehow controlling these people. We have 100% control. We have influence over these people. When obviously we don't. We put disclaimers in there. We tell people to be nice. But people don't listen. They don't read the disclaimers. And that's another criticism of us apparently, that they don't read it. Well, what do you want us to do? We're trying to stop it. We're trying to keep it down to a minimum. But what are we supposed to do? You won't accept that. And you won't accept us removing it from the sources entirely, because then that's not using sources. Therefore we've lost a debate apparently, because Christy Winters is obsessed with sources. She will literally ask you for a source on the most esoteric, most mundane thing in an argument. So we're damned if we do and we're damned if we don't. And what do they say we should do? Well, one person, Kevin, the one janitor, not Logan, has told us that we should go on an anti-bullying campaign to show our disapproval, mainly to show them our disapproval, as if to show to them, look, we don't like bullying, we're going to pander to you, we're going to, do all these things. It's like, no, firstly, we know what you're like, and that's not going to solve the issue, and you're not going to be happy with that, because next thing you know, there'll be people who won't listen, and they'll be the same individuals, and they will do it all over again, and we'll be back to square one. And another thing that's interesting about all this is that these are the same people, Michael Rowlands and Christy Winters, not Tim. He hasn't done any of this as far as I know. They are the people who will make videos over and over again on some of the biggest channels. I'm not saying that they can't do that, and they've accused us of doing that, even though I don't go around making videos all the time about all the people that I've exposed or ran into on YouTube. I only make videos if they've done something really horrible, and then I'll leave it for ages and talk about someone else, or do a video like this, which is an opinion piece. That's what I do. They will make videos over and over and over again on particular individuals. First it was Thunderfoot, then it was Sargon, and now it's Bearing. I think the only reason they do this is not to really do anything about debate. Sometimes it does lead into debate, like with Sargon and Bearing. Really, this is all about attention, and it's also about smearing them. There's literally no logical argument, there's no evidence to suggest that Bearing is a bully, yet they do it anyway. This is trying to smear him. I think this is trying to silence him, but they're too small to do so, and I think this is probably trying to stop the neutrals from watching him and talking about it, because if they think he's a bully, and if they believe these people based on their word alone, then they've won. And I think that's really the point of all this. But one person I don't think is trying to do that, and I think that's Tim. I think he's honest about it. He thinks Bering is horrible. He thinks Sargon's horrible. He's told me this. He honestly believes that he's a bully. Even though with all the things that I've said, does he not realise that he's not being logical and that none of it's rational? He just irrationally hates Bering and all these other people. Have you not stopped to think, Tim, that they've not said a thing about harassing people? They've not nudged people in any way. They just leave a link there. A link does not entice someone. They have to think, I'm going to be a cunt to this person anyway. They probably, if they were desperate enough, willing to search for it. And it's probably not hard to search for these videos. So my conclusion is that Bering is not a bully. He's obviously not a bully. There's just no way going around it. He just isn't. Look at it logically, people. He doesn't control his fans, they control themselves. He's never told them to do anything anyway, and criticism is not bullying. And just because these people are small channels and they may or may not delete videos or their own channels even, I don't think that's his intention to silence them, because that's the thing, because they remove videos, private them, or remove their own channels even. That's the main aim, is to silence these people. But they can't prove that either, because that's asserting things onto him, and it's wrong thing. There are certain things, and they can't prove it. And he said over and over again that it's not his intention. In fact, he's been on debates with these people even. Like, he recently had a hangout with Danny Courts and Marina Shutup. If he wanted to silence them, he would do so, wouldn't he? These people obviously cannot handle the free marketplace of ideas. They don't have thick enough skins to deal with being a public figure on YouTube. This is a particular part of YouTube where if your ideas don't stand up and they sink, that's it, you're done. You can't do it. It's a harsh world that we live in, and it's a harsh YouTube environment. If they want an easier place, they can either hide in their echo chambers on Twitter or Tumblr or any other place. They can block people, they can stop all comments, they can disable ratings, you can do all that and nothing would happen. But they don't. And then they get this stuff and then they wonder why. Also, maybe they should stop saying inflammatory shit about demographics, but hey, whatever. It's okay when they do it, apparently. Anyway, people, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I've had fun talking about this. Until next time, like and share the video, subscribe to my channel, donate to the Patreon, and I'll see you all later.